Sit back, it's time to get groovy. Question, do you remember that movie?
Welcome back to Remember That Movie. I am the third Alejandro Rosa on IMDb.
And I am Steve Johnston, and I am not on IMDb.
And we're back with another episode and another movie. This time, I did not pick this film. Steve did not pick this film because we have a guest. Someone who's been on this podcast before. Welcome back, Dr. Tracy. Yay!
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Dr. Tracy has been on the podcast actually multiple times, but not for a long time now, I think. Dr. Tracy, please let everyone know, what movie are we talking about today?
Today we are talking about the 1986 blockbuster hit, Top Gun.
To start us out, Dr. Tracy, we have this kind of new thing that we do, or this thing that we've been doing, which is that in order to just get the plot out of the way, because it just takes too much time to get into it, we have decided that we will find the back of the VHS, and we will just read that. The back of the VHS, it's just Tom Cruise in the cockpit going, big old thumbs up.
Of course.
And
I mean, that's all you really need to know.
apparently, because what was written after that was real short. So it's like, here's Tom Cruise, and here's what it says. A hip, heart-pounding combination of action, music, and incredible aerial photography helped make Top Gun the blockbuster hit of 1986. Top Gun takes a look at the danger and excitement that awaits every pilot at the Navy's prestigious fighter weapons school. Tom Cruise is superb as Maverick Mitchell, a daring young flyer who's out to become the best of the best, and Kelly McGillis sizzles as the civilian instructor who teaches Maverick a few things you can't learn in a classroom. That is terrible.
That's horrible.
I had
Truly
not read
wretched.
that before I read it with you guys. I didn't know what it said.
And I just want to note that I said blockbuster hit without having read that.
That's
so,
incredible.
I mean,
How did you know?
prescient. Really.
How did you
yeah.
know? To start us off, we have to ask, Dr. Tracy, you have mentioned this film in the past, but for those who have not gone into our back catalog, can you tell the people, what is your personal history with Top Gun?
Well, I have to preface this by saying that I was listening to the RoboCop episode, and you two made me feel very old because I'm about to say something that is probably impossible for both of you, which is that I was the original demographic for this movie. When this movie came out in 1986, I was a extremely boy crazy 17-year-old high school girl who was dating a man who was in the Marine Corps. I saw the movie in the theater, I think twice. I loved it. I thought it was great. I enjoyed it. I got the poster. I was all about this movie. And then I went to college and I brought my poster and I hung it up in my college dorm room. One evening I went across the hallway and was enjoying some of, shall we say, the devil's lettuce with a friend.
Arugula.
And yeah, arugula. And
All right.
with some oregano on the side, perhaps.
Delicious.
And he was like, "Yeah, let's put on, HBO or whatever." And Top Gun came on, and I was like, "Oh man, this is great! I love this movie." But something about, I don't know if it was the Mary Jane, I don't know if it was the 2 years that had intervened in my sophistication. But everything about this movie looked hackneyed and stupid and awkward. And I was so embarrassed to be me. And it was a really formative moment in my growth as a human. It was a rite of passage into adulthood, really. My early burgeoning hatred of the movie Top Gun.
A movie that you once loved.
I
and then
really did
ended
love
up
it.
hating. Yes.
True, yes.
Wow. Steve, what's your Top Gun experience? Were you also a 17-year-old?
You took the line. I was going to say I was not a 17-year-old girl when I first saw it.
I apologize.
No, I was slightly younger than that. This was a movie that we had seen on TV when it was broadcast somewhere, and we taped it. So it was in our library of movies that we would watch every now and then. And at a younger age, we're talking at most early teens, very much loved this movie. It was great. It was fantastic. It was exciting. And then hadn't watched it in a very long time until a couple nights ago. I will say I went back and listened to Dr. Tracy's original episode in which you talked about your Top Gun experience a little bit. And it set me at ease because it was very comforting to know that my opinion of the movie very much aligns with yours, having watched it again and having grown since the first time I saw it.
So I shouldn't send you the poster? I have miscalculated. I don't know when I watched this movie. I know I was also younger. I think it was definitely a TV, HBO kind of scenario. 100%. There's no way I would have watched this in any other way. I watched everything that was on HBO. And of course, at that time period, there was only like 12 movies that HBO played at a time. Kind of the same as Steve. I was very young. So to me, everyone was cool. Yeah. And they were doing cool stuff. And he had a motorcycle and he had a fighter jet and it's a volleyball. And it's so cool. And that was not the experience I had last night when I watched it. That's not what I felt. My feelings were different. This little film was directed by Tony Scott. Familiar with Tony Scott?
He's Ridley Scott's brother.
Ding! He is Ridley Scott's younger brother.
Okay.
That's right. He did like Beverly Hills Cop 2, Days of Thunder, The Last Boy Scout. The film was produced by Don Simpson and Jerry Bruckheimer. Do you know that they became famous as a producing duo for Flashdance? One of the early Jerry Bruckheimers, a girl and a dancing in the bucket and all that.
It tracks, really. In a really cringy way.
Don Simpson and Jerry Bruckheimer were individual producers, and of course they went on to do a lot of things on their own. But together they did Flashdance, Beverly Hills Cop 1 and 2, Bad Boys, and Crimson Tide. There's a real theme to these movies. You're going to be surprised, Dr. Tracy. This movie was written by men.
No.
Yeah, I mean, there's I don't even know if it was catered by women. Like, I don't think women were allowed on this set.
We're not applying the Bechdel test this evening.
No, we threw it out. The writing partners, Jim Cash and Jack Epps Jr. This was their big success. They went on to do the film Legal Eagles and The Secret of My Success, May 1983. Ehud Jonet, maybe the pronunciation, maybe not, wrote an article in a magazine, and it was called Top Guns, and it was about this training school for elite pilots. Producers saw this, and they went, we're going to make a movie out of this. So they tried to get people to write it. Our writing duo wrote a first draft, and they said, no, try again. And so they went back and they tried again. Jack Epps actually went to the training school and got on the planes and did multiple flight things with them and like really did the research on this. And then they wrote a wonderful script, maybe, that was eventually produced by Bruckheimer and Don Simpson. You'll be surprised to know that the Navy had a lot to do with this film. Some people are like, this is real Navy propaganda. Probably. But the thing is, if you're going to make a movie about fighter pilots, you kind of need them, and you kind of need the planes, and you can't fake that, especially in the 1980s. Yeah. You kind of need to go to the Navy and go, can we do stuff with your planes? And they said, okay, but we have conditions, and also you're going to pay us. So that's fantastic. We have Tom Cruise, a 23, 24-year-old who is offered this role while working on another film that we have covered, which is Legend. So he's working on Legend. He's offered this. He's not sure if he wants to do it, but the director of Legend says, you should totally do this.
It's my brother.
Exactly. It's Ridley Scott. Dude, do this for my brother. My little brother needs this. Tony Scott was actually more famous at this point for making like Saab commercials. He'd done some really cool car commercials. Oh. And then we have, of course, Kelly McGillis. Kelly McGillis, who plays Dr. I don't think it's a doctor, actually. I apologize. Charlotte Charlie Blackwood.
I think she's supposed to have a PhD.
Thank you. I thought I was right there. She's an astrophysicist, civilian Top Gun instructor. But she didn't start out that way. Do you know how she started out? As an aerobics instructor.
Okay, so walk me through how the aerobics instructor and the Flyboys.
That bar scene just had an aerobics instructor hanging out. Hi, how's it going? Can I have a Budweiser too? I'm assuming that she was an aerobics instructor in that first draft that the producer said, no. Try again. And here's the weird one. And I swear we're going to go somewhere happy, but it's going to sound really unpleasant at first. The producers, did I sell it? The producers met Christine Legs Fox, who was a civilian mathematician employed for the Center of Naval Analysis. And that's why they turned the character of Charlie into the astrophysicist hottie.
It was the 80s, man. Different time.
I guess.
It was really the
It's
80s.
still
I'm not saying that to excuse it.
12 people just unsubscribed after you said that. But here's kind of a cool thing that I discovered. She was actually acting Deputy Secretary of Defense for like a 5-month time period during the Obama administration, which actually made her the highest ranking woman to work in the Pentagon at that time. She went on to be the Assistant Director for Policy and Analysis at Johns Hopkins Applied Physics Laboratory. Wasn't just the legs, folks.
Yeah.
Not that we're saying that the legs were bad.
Get
Anyway.
back on track, man. Get back
Thank
on
you.
track.
Then we have Maverick's bestie, Goose. I think one of Anthony Edwards' most famous roles, except for one. He would eventually star a few years later in a little show you may have heard about called ER, where he played Dr. Mark Green.
Yep.
I still remember his death scene. Spoiler alert for anybody who hasn't watched from 1994 to like 2002's ER. Tom Skerritt, his character, the character of Viper, is actually based on a real pilot who uses the name Viper. And then Val Kilmer, who plays Iceman. Quite possibly like the most classic 1980s, like he's the bad guy. Or is he?
Yeah.
I was gonna say,
We'll comment on that. We'll
no.
comment on that. He's actually he was only 3 years older than Tom Cruise. They both look insanely young. Of course, he was in Real Genius. He did Real Genius. He did Top Gun, and then he did Willow, which we did an episode about. Then he did Kill Me Again, and then he did The Doors, which he's also insanely famous for. If there is an award for the most unsung leading man of his generation, Kilmer should get it. That was written by Roger Ebert in the 90s.
Strong agree.
Let me ask you this. What changed for you each, having watched it earlier in life? What hit differently watching it this time? We'll start with Dr. Tracy.
Because I'm so old, I watched this in the theater.
Yes.
And when this movie came out, the level of practical effects, the fact that they were blowing up airplanes in the actual sky, the fact that they had footage from an actual aircraft carrier was new and exciting and innovative. I think that one thing that changed is that since then, movie making has come a long way. My internal timer when I'm watching films and like the pacing and everything is very different now than it was then, you know? And so I think from that perspective, that really changed. And I think the other thing is that, like, you know, I'm not a kid. It's one thing to, like, you know, watch guys ride a fast motorcycle and sing to somebody in a bar when you're 17. Yeah. And then when you watch it as a grown adult, you're like,
hey, leave that lady alone. She didn't ask for this.
Exactly. What?
Hey,
you're following her to the bathroom? What a weird stalker.
You know what? Call the police.
Kick him. Yeah. Kick him with your pointy heels. Come on, man.
Steve, what do you think?
What changed between then and now is that I went to high school. So when I first saw the movie, I thought, okay, yeah, these guys are cool, hotshot pilots. This is awesome. But it was the high school experience that taught me that, no, these guys are assholes. They are just arrogant, cocky. They fit the perfect profile of the athletic bullies in high school that I had to deal with. These guys whose life revolved around football, and if you were not into football, and if you were not athletic, which I was not, I was a theater nerd. So I found myself on the receiving end of their, at the time, cruelty, and now that I look back at it, it was just idiocy. Found myself just not really liking any of them on a personal level. I'm going to pause there because I'm sure we will come back and discuss this more.
Sure.
But what once was cool now is not.
Ooh, that's nice. I'll ride those coattails and say something similar, which is that I thought these guys were the coolest in the world. And then I watched it this time and I'm like, this is something that actually struck me. They're young. They're in their 20s. They don't know what the hell they're doing. And they really think they do. The actors were young, right? But the characters were young. And that was something that was completely lost on me when I first watched this. The Charlie character did not realize that she was slightly older, which was a whole thing, right? He's a young guy. The astrophysicist and punk pilot. For me, it was like, oh, this is a whole other dynamic that I did not pick up on at all.
And with that, right, watching this as a young person, it's like, oh, well, Maverick's mysterious and he's a bad boy and, he's breaking the rules. And then, you watch it as a person that has some experience in life and you're like, this is a broken child. This is a person who needs a lot of support and doesn't know how to accept it. And it's a little bit upsetting when you really think about him as a person. It's like, oh no, he's a disaster.
And you have horrible daddy issues.
Oh, the biggest.
Iceman. Iceman is Maverick's sort of nemesis. He starts saying things to Maverick from the beginning. Number one, he says, you didn't earn this. Cougar did. I think it was Cougar. The guy who was the top and then backed out because he had a big crisis. And good for him. They were essentially B team. Number two, and I love this, I don't like you because you're dangerous. There are rules to keep us all safe. You don't follow the rules. You're a dangerous dude. When you're young, you're like, that's so cool. And when you're older, you're like, fire him.
The rules are there for a reason.
Get out.
Do not promote him for insubordination again.
The line that he said is, whose side are you on?
Yes.
Right? Because it's a team. You're not a team player. And you're like, oh my God, this movie should be called Iceman is not listened to.
I mean, Iceman does win. Iceman does win the Top Gun trophy.
There's one of those wonderful moments where they're playing Take My Breath Away. I would like to make a statement. I hate that song. Yes. I've always hated that song. I think that song was played constantly when I was growing up. So when I hear the doom, 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 like I want to scream.
That was one of the songs they played at the slow skate at the skating rink we used to go to.
Meg Ryan is in this movie for about 5 minutes.
She's so adorable.
Cute as a button.
I would like to counter. She is cute as a button, but what comes out of her mouth is terrible. Because when we're playing Great Balls of Fire on the piano, I don't know if she was doing an accent. I don't know what the hell she was saying, but everything that came out of her mouth was weird and just bizarre. And it was like she was in a different movie. And then later, spoiler alert, after Goose dies, then I felt like, oh, then we're getting real Meg Ryan. And she had like the kind of the emotion and the genuineness and the honesty, and it was sweet. And I was like, that's the Meg Ryan I like.
I think she was supposed to be drunk. I did think it was interesting, though, that like Kelly McGillis's character Charlie is sitting there like hearing all about like, oh, don't feel special. Maverick sleeps with everyone. And she's like, that's so charming. I'm so great that I just had sex with that guy. I'm going to go take a shower right now.
Following up, going right to the end, he drives up to her place. And of course, she said, I'm moving away. She got a job in like DC or whatever. And it's like, the sign is for rent. And he's just like, oh.
I don't know if you noticed, but the for rent sign was stuck outside that house the first time he visited it. It appears in a shot.
Nice.
Well, she was leaving. She just thought, this will be fun for a minute. And so he moves on. But later, when we have him, the final scene, he's at the restaurant and just the jukebox plays. And it turns out to be her. Can I just say that again as an adult? I'm like, what are you doing here? Didn't you just get a really good job in DC? He's a child. Why are you back?
How did you know he was going to be there?
He doesn't go anywhere else. He only goes to that one diner. He's still there. I'm assuming that's how the sequel starts. He's at the same diner, having a Budweiser, thinking about her. And who's stupid going to DC for stupid Astro stuff. Yeah. The other thing that I love is that throughout the entire film, everyone is talking about, like, Maverick, you suck, but also you're a genius. You notice that? Every time. It's like, Maverick, that is not how you do it, but goddamn, son, that is brilliant. And it's like, you're sending mixed messages. How is he going to learn? If you're like, this is terrible, you're breaking the rules, you're putting people in danger, but, oh man, that's impressive. I've never seen anybody do something like that. And he goes, yeah, I'm going to keep doing it.
And then they get mad when he keeps doing it more.
Let me ask you this. What works in this film? I will pose that to the team. What works? Dr. Tracy, you are the guest. You get to go first.
So first of all, I think Anthony Edwards really does a lovely job with his role as Goose. Mm-hmm. I thought that he was very affable and charming. I feel like he hit the right notes without going like way over the top like some other cast members.
Except for one scene.
Great Balls of Fire?
No, Great Balls of Fire was fine. It was when Iceman cracks a joke at the end of the very first meeting, and he just lets out this howl while everyone else kind of goes, it was kind of funny. But apart from that, sorry, carry on.
It's just funny because, like, in 1986, I thought the action was just amazing, right? Like, it was just so cool to see those those planes and doing all the stuff, and it's hard to not look at it now and see, oh, they just used the same scene. You know, they use the same footage over and over and over again with slightly different timing. Again, like some of that's just a bias of my present time. I thought the pacing was pretty good. I thought it was well paced. I'm just thinking of all the things I didn't like. And I'm having a hard time. Like with what worked. I don't know. Not Tom Cruise's hair. Not
Iceman wearing sunglasses inside the bar.
All the time.
That was just confusing. It was nighttime. I'm like, Iceman, can you even see?
It's like
dark.
that Corey Hart song. It's because, he wears his sunglasses at night. Anthony Edwards and the pacing. That's what worked for me.
Wow. That is a very small list.
I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. That's just funny.
I liked the dogfighting. Anything to do with the aerial maneuvering and the fighting. Yeah. That was fantastic. Again, you are correct. It is a little dated. It is obvious that they're reusing some shots every now and then, but overall, I still enjoyed the heck out of that. What was the other? Kenny Loggins. Kenny Loggins still works for me.
It's hard not to kind of feel that, like, when those chords start,
The Danger Zone starts playing.
Yeah.
The catapult goes off, the jet goes off the end, and Danger Zone was like, yes.
It's good.
Yeah.
I didn't mind the dogfighting as much. They put cameras on the ground. They put cameras on the planes. They put cameras they had a Learjet that was filming them as well. So they had cameras everywhere. Cool. I think for that time period, I think it is pretty impressive. I was surprised at how well it was edited, honestly, as far as those fight scenes. Like, it was tight. It was tense. I have to say, even though I'd watched this before, the Goose death scene is short and brutal, right?
Yeah, it's affecting.
It really works. I was like, God, like I knew this was happening, and I was still like, oh my God, this is awful. I have to say, I was annoyed at the things that I did like about this movie because I expected to like this movie less than I did. Not saying that I love it, but honestly, the acting, I actually think it's well acted by everyone. I actually think Val Kilmer is great in this movie. He's very famous for this part. Mm-hmm. He didn't want to do this part. He was going to say no, and he eventually did it, and he became very famous for it. Tom Cruise is just a challenging human being, but the thing that always gets me about Tom Cruise is sometimes he does bad movies, but he himself has always been a pretty fine actor. The love story was just atrocious to me.
Terrible.
God,
So
horrible.
bad.
So bad. It's like,
Everything about it.
Yeah.
I just didn't like it.
No matter what scene he was in, he was always standing too close. I would have been happier with some of the romantic scenes if he would have just taken one step backwards. He was always leaning in. There is a fine line between enthusiasm and stalking.
Also, like, who goes to a first date and says, hey, I know I'm late. I'm just going to walk right by you and go take a shower at your house?
Do you mind? Yes.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
The person who had actually been offered this role first, Matthew Modine.
Oh.
He thought it was a little too military rah, rah, rah. So
Yeah.
instead, he went on to do Full Metal Jacket. Which I think is more of a military criticism, but I'm not 100% sure because I haven't really watched it. Guys, anyone?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, there is that sort of saying that no war movie is anti-war. You know, even anti-war movies are glorify war.
How do we think this movie did?
It did amazingly well because at the time it was the epitome of cool.
The epitome of cool. With a budget of $15 million. It came out
That's
May.
all?
That's all they needed.
Wow.
Well, again, they didn't have to make the planes. They just had
No,
to film
but-
the planes.
And they had
And they had to rent that one house and that one restaurant.
Just
And
one.
I mean, they had to spend a lot of money on the spray bottles for everyone to sweat and the oil for everyone during the volleyball scene. But other than that, like, costs were low.
I just thought that the costs to get the Navy involved would have pushed the budget higher than that.
I think most of the budget went to the Navy, including this one moment where Tony Scott was like, I want to film a shot of the plane landing on the carrier with the sun behind it. The captain was like, yeah, no, we've moved. We have to move the position. And he goes, but I need us to move it back. And he was like, that's going to cost us, and it was something like $25,000 because of the amount of fuel and everything that we're using to do that. And Tony Scott wrote him a check from his own pocket. And so that's why we have a scene like that.
I think that was money well spent, though, because that is an excellent shot.
It's
It's
an excellent
beautiful.
shot. It is.
It's a beautiful shot.
$15 million budget.
Okay.
Total box office, 353.8, give or take some millions. It was the top grossing film of 1986. I think we even talked about it, Steve. Didn't this come out at the same time as Legend? Didn't they come out back to back and Legend was like destroyed by this film?
Oh, yes. I think so.
Here's the question for you both. Do we think critics like this film? Dr. Tracy, what do you think?
I think it was probably mixed. I bet Roger Ebert did not like it.
Spot on.
Oh, no kidding. That was totally a guess.
Here's the quote. Good parts are so good, and the bad parts are so relentless. The dog
I love
fights.
him.
I know. The dog fights are absolutely the best since Clint Eastwood's electrifying scenes in Firefox.
Yes.
But look out for the scenes where people talk to one another.
yes. Yes.
100%.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
100%.
I have another quote. It's from a gentleman named Siskel. He praised the action sequences, as I think people typically do, but criticized the romantic subplot.
Good.
He's almost even more ruthless.
Oh, wow.
It belongs in a teenage sex fantasy film and not in a movie that deserves the general artistic value of an officer and a gentleman.
It's a good point because it does look like a scene that was written by people who had never had sex and acted by people who had also never had sex with humans. Like, it's really inexplicable.
And I still think they were more sweaty on the carrier.
Yes.
Yes. Also,
Yeah.
yeah.
But maybe that was
Yeah.
just all the blue light.
Yeah. Yes. And like, why is her house lit that way? I don't know.
understand.
Yeah.
Makes no sense.
It's just horrendous. I just remember the breaking point when I watched it, thinking how bad the acting was. But I think it was just that we had good actors trying to deliver lines that would never be spoken by people in real life.
Yes.
100% agree. Yes. It's bad dialogue. It's not
Yeah.
bad acting. It's
Yeah.
bad dialogue. We did get a sequel, but before we got a sequel, we got a spoof. Does anyone remember the spoof of this film?
Hot Shots, yes.
1991's Hot Shots. That movie is ridiculously dumb, and I enjoyed it when I was very young.
Same
And I
here.
watched the sequel, which was even worse than the first one. The only thing about that movie that is funny is that at one point they have Charlie Sheen's Rambo character doing a monologue as he's like thinking he's on a riverboat.
Yep.
And then there's another monologue that interjects with his monologue.
Yes.
And it's Martin Sheen.
riding
his own-
riding on the PT boat coming the other direction.
Yes, and they cross.
Amazing.
And do you remember they both stand up, look at each other, and go, "I loved you in Wall Street" as they pass?
And then, a mere 36 years later, 36 years later, we get Top Gun Maverick. One of us has seen this film. And I know which one it is. Dr. Tracy.
It's not me.
I know for a fact that Dr. Tracy saw Top Gun Maverick. Dr. Tracy, quick question. Was Legs in this at all? Was there any other kind of woman with a weird nickname? Or did women have a role in this film?
Well, Jennifer Connelly is in it as the aforementioned general's daughter.
Yeah.
Penny. So she comes back. So we actually have a romance that everyone is age appropriate, which is refreshing.
That's nice.
Really. And although she seemed to own Charlie's Porsche, like the same Porsche, but I don't know.
Oh.
Anyway, some of the same weird, inexplicable things occur. There's no face eating, so that's nice. But they do have like weird beach sports that have no apparent goal, where men run around with no shirts on, topless with jeans, because everybody wears jeans at the beach. The flying is excellent. Miles Teller and Glenn Powell are incredibly dynamic and fun to watch, although they do bring back Goose's mustache. Everybody has a terrible mustache in this movie. It's just incredible. But the action sequences are dope. I mean, the action sequences are really great.
Dr. Tracy, but did they fix the subplot romance?
Did they fix it? I mean, it is also completely superfluous to the actual story, but it is a less cringy add-on. And I hate saying that because I love Kelly McGillis and her hair was just so on point for the movie. But yeah, it's also totally superfluous. Okay. She's not an astrophysicist. She owns the bar where everybody hangs out. And
you
drinks
already lost
Budweisers.
me.
Yeah.
No astrophysicist. What is the point?
Yeah.
She owns a bar.
She probably does aerobics. I don't know if that helps.
Penny owns the bar and does aerobics at the senior center. That movie had a budget of 170 to 177 million. Do you know how much that movie made?
Like $1 billion.
You're absolutely right. $1.4 billion.
Jeez.
Yeah. I will tell you that I actually read about the Top Gun program. It's a program to create flight teachers. You go there, you train, that way you can train other people. It's not competitive. There's no point system. Nobody gets to become Top Gun. Hollywood made that up. No, it's actually about teamwork. The guy who was being interviewed was like, yeah, somebody like Maverick wouldn't be accepted into the program.
Yeah.
Because that kind of behavior and that kind of attitude is frowned upon. It used to be in Miramar. By the way, the first time I heard them say it, I thought they said Myanmar. And I'm like, oh, that's a weird place to train. Kind of funny to hear, like, yeah, Maverick was the wrong person for the job. Iceman was great.
Validation for Val Kilmer.
Validation for Val. Dr. Tracy, do you recommend this film to people to watch?
No.
But Dr. Tracy, you've watched it multiple times, and you went and watched the sequel, I'm assuming, at a movie theater.
I did. They wore me down. You remember I was not going to. I was like, why do we need this again? This is a terrible idea. And yet I couldn't not. I mean, in fairness, I had a 12-year-old daughter that wanted to see it as well. So I think the sequel was better. It was much better written. Also, I have to put that in there. The dialogue actually was somewhat believable. And so that really did help it. But no, like, Yeah, it's an iconic movie and a lot of people really love it, but it's such a relic of its moment that like there's so many better things to spend your time watching now.
What do you think, Steve?
I'd kind of recommend seeing it just because it is an iconic movie from the 80s. Go into it thinking that's what you're going to see. Yeah. So you get to experience the highs, you get to experience the cringiness, you get to experience like the whole package. It's not a great movie anymore, but I still think it's kind of worth watching.
I think parts. Yeah, there's little bits. I will say
we'll have to do a cut where it's only the good bits, so it's only the flying and Val Kilmer.
It's just
15 minutes.
It's a couple of minutes. 10 maybe. Really. You know, a quick shot of Goose dying. You're like, oh, that was really good. And then you cut to, and and then we move on. I don't hate it. I don't. I want to hate it. I really do.
I have to say that although I got really angry at it when I was a young person because I hated my former self who liked it, watching it with 30 years of remove, 40 years of remove now, I wasn't mad at it. I'm like, yeah, this is pretty weak in some fundamental ways, but it's still really fun in some other ways. And I was like, yeah, I didn't hate it.
One of the things that I found interesting in thinking about it is, like a couple other movies that we've discussed, our frame of reference has shifted just because of age. So when I first saw this, I was looking at slightly older guys acting cool and thinking, oh, I want to be like them.
Heck yeah.
And now that I am older, I am looking back at them going, oh, no. I was so wrong.
You look at your own children and go, you see that? You stay away from that.
These are the people I'm warning you about.
If he has a nickname like Maverick or whatever.
And if he leans in too close every time he talks to you.
So that's Top Gun. That's our glowing review of this film. Thank you so much, Dr. Tracy, for joining us on this deep dive.
Thank you for indulging me. This was incredible. It was lovely.
Therapeutic.
This is the therapeutic. I feel so much better now.
Steve, are you doing our next film?
I think so. I think we are going to go back a couple years to 1984 and watch The Never-Ending Story.
Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for listening or watching, whichever it is that you do. Please like, subscribe, or do whatever it is that you do that gives us positive feedback so that we can continue to do this. Thank you so much for Dr. Tracy for joining us. And we will be back with tears and The Never-Ending Story.
Sit back, it's time to get groovy. Question, do you remember that movie?